विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। Hello listeners, you're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast program on STEM popularization, catalyzed and supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India and Media for Community Foundation. Project devised and designed by Dr. R. Sridhar and assisted by Ashish Tiwari. Local coordination and production, Professor Subramanian. Content writing by Priyanshu and post-production by Professor Kaushik P. Kanchan of Garden City University, Bangalore. Garden City University, conquer we shall all adversity. GCU, emphasis on life. GCU, emphasis on life. In this episode, we introduce Dr. Neena S. John, a rising star in materials chemistry and a dedicated researcher at the Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, Bangalore. Dr. John earned her PhD in materials chemistry from the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research in 2007. With a strong academic foundation starting with a master's from Kochi University in Kerala, she went on to hone her expertise through postdoctoral research at the University of Manchester, UK, and the Indian Institute of Sciences. Since joining CeNS in 2010, Dr. John has been contributing to cutting-edge research at the interface of chemistry, physics, and advanced materials. Her work continues to push boundaries in the development of functional nanoscale systems and materials innovation.
So I'm Neena Susan John. So I joined here at Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences in 2010. And from that point onwards, I'm currently working as a CE in this institution. And my group mostly works on inorganic materials for various applications. So one major application recently we are looking is towards hydrogen generation. The materials, towards hydrogen generation, and another application we look at is something called surface enhanced raman spectroscopy for the detection of molecular analytes. And another thing we also look at while looking at application, we also try to have a fundamental understanding of if something works, why it works, or something it's not working. So sometimes we predict that it will work, but it may not work. Then why is it so? So we try to get an understanding of the materials on the basics of the processes along with this application. So application comes at the end. When something works better, we will take it towards higher technology readiness levels. For example, one of the things my mainly work is on, or my two members, my students work is on something called catalyst for electrochemical hydrogen generation. So this electrochemical hydrogen generation is mainly targeted through water process. Water we have it here. So water is considered as a sustainable source in this world, and so when you can generate hydrogen. So hydrogen is kind of secondary energy. Like you can use hydrogen to generate further energy. So that's it. It's not a primary thing. So you generate hydrogen from water and then use it for energy by burning it or using it in fuel cells. You can generate energy. So that's the basic idea. So water when we use, it is a simple process in principle. You have only two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. So you split it and forms hydrogen and oxygen. You don't have any toxicity associated with it, and it's supposed to be clean energy, hydrogen. And hydrogen, once you burn, it will again produce water. It will not produce again other byproducts. So that is something which is attractive about the water reference. So that's why there is a lot of impetus from the government also. So our work somewhat aligns with this national mission to raising Make in India or Smart India by using renewable energy. So For example, when I say renewable energy, one aspect is that you, for example, water electrons, I say, you need to apply, although water is simple as I said, you can split, you need to give some energy to split it. And that energy, that cannot be efficient by just supplying electricity, because you will have to supply huge energy to split it. So something what we do is use a catalyst, to make it more efficient. A catalyst is something that drives a chemical reaction more efficiently by lowering the activation, we call it some activation energy barrier. It lowers the energy barrier. So you need not put that much of energy to split it. So catalysts will make it more better. So we work, so it is several aspects. So we work on this catalyst. So mostly the catalyst what we use presently is based on platinum. It is again a noble metal. Noble metal, I mean, it's a precious metal. Very less on something. So if you want to make it in a huge production, the platinum will be used up and it will become more and more expensive. So the present thrive is to thrust is to look for something which is less cheaper. Something which is less expensive. Or reduce the amount of platinum, like cobalt, nickel. So those things are copper. So these things are a little more abundant in the earth's surface compared to platinum, and also cheaper. You can also think of using these metals in combination with a small amount of platinum. So you can reduce the loading of platinum by combining with these materials to make it the electrolysis more efficient. So this is one major thing we work on. And then once we identify a suitable catalyst, so in our we work with smaller amounts. When we say catalyst, it's like 1 by 1 centimeter square kind of thing. Maximum we can at the laboratory we can take it up to 5 by 2.5 or maximum 5 square centimeter. So still then we have a project with an industry. For example, private. So they have supported us, with some funding to demonstrate a prototype of 5 square centimeter electrolyzer with this cheaper catalyst. And if it is efficient, then they will take it up further towards commercialization. Or can we use it in the area and then use it in data. So this is something which we do here towards energy generation. Okay. So this way we can reduce our reliability on fossil fuels, which is petrol, from the earth. So and also reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that comes from the
emission.
Fossil fuels. So these are the two advantages why people are looking towards hydrogen. It has other challenges. So once we generate hydrogen, storing, but that I am not addressing in my research. We are only looking at the catalyst and hydrogen generation, how to efficiently generate hydrogen. And other parts, maybe other researchers might be looking the. So one can also use this electrolyzers to generate hydrogen on demand and then use it as an input for fuel cell. Fuel cell is something where we use this hydrogen to generate electricity.
Okay, just to ignite.
No, it's not burning. There is again some chemical reaction happening there, and then we use it as an input as a fuel in a fuel cell. Cell is like something which produces electricity, right? So instead of lithium, that's the battery. It's completely different principle. So fuel cell is where you have again chemical reactions happening. There are some chemical reactions that is spontaneous. Redox, we call it redox, reduction and oxidation, electrochemistry, electrochemical reaction, which can generate voltage. You don't need to supply voltage. These reactions will happen and generate voltage. So that is, one can combine the different several cells stack and then use it to supply instead of your generators. You can use these cells to supply. So again, hydrogen is used. There are various dimensionalities to this topic. And as I said, for hydrogen energy, to split water, you need to put a bit energy. Even though catalyst is split, you need to put some electrical energy. So depending on where this electrical energy comes from, there are different grades of hydrogen. So if the electrical energy, how do we produce in Kerala? It's hydroelectric. So that is renewable energy. So the electrical energy comes from a renewable source where there is no carbon dioxide emission, then that is called a green hydrogen. Okay, completely clear. But if it comes from a thermal plant where coal is burned, then you are producing electricity from somewhere where coal is burned and producing carbon dioxide. Then you can't term it as a green, you might term it as blue or green. So there are some color codings. So, and then another major renewable energy people combine to look, produce electricity is gas. For instance, also you can combine with these water, we call it electrolyzer, water electrolyzers to generate hydrogen. So this is one major thing which we look at. So for this we look at various catalysts, various aspects of it, and that is when different students are looking at. Another thing is in the electrochemical, there is something called ammonia. Ammonia is very important for producing fuel and for producing fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer. So ammonia is currently produced also by very energy intensive process in the industry, which is called Haber-Bosch process, where hydrogen and nitrogen are combined at high pressures and temperatures, and then ammonia is produced. And the ammonia is then further utilized to produce fertilizer. So can we generate ammonia by electrochemical from nitrogen? Again, we dissolve nitrogen in water or some other salt. Or we also look at producing ammonia from nitrate. Nitrate is something which is available as a toxic source. So can we use that? So nitrogen and nitrate are two different sources people can get in ammonia where not much high intensity energy consumption is not. So that is also one aspect we look at. Again, catalyst is required. So we look at efficient catalyst and what happens to the catalyst, what is the stability. As I said, the various aspects. And so this is some part. Another thing which I explained is surface enhanced thermal spectroscopy, which is based on our Raman simulation, Raman spectroscopy, CD Raman. So that is, it has different applications. So, for example, I drug molecule and a toxic molecule. How to detect in very small, when they have small amounts. For example, they put some chemical in an apple, or I am carrying some small amounts in airport bag or something. How to detect it? Is it? So there are some things, there are some facilities available. For example, some people use chromatography based techniques and fluorescence based techniques. Fluorescence based techniques are simple and nice, but it becomes a bit, its selectivity is a bit less. I don't want it too much go into the science part of it. Basically, we use a Raman. Raman spectra is a molecule when you spectrometer. It will give some signals. Okay, some peaks. It's like a vibrational features. Okay, some signals, some peaks will get. Let us make it simple. And that peaks is moved to a molecule. Another molecule will give you a different peak. Okay, so you can identify the molecule from this. You can make a library of molecules with different things. So if you match with your library, so I put unknown molecule. And because I don't know, I get something, it looks like white or something, or some explosive, everything will look similar. And we put it under the Raman spectrometer, and then it will give some vibration signal. From the vibration signal, I can match with this library and find out what it is. And you can even find out the concentration, what is the ppm kind of thing. For that, Raman spectrometer, for that, you need to design some substrates that will enhance the signals from molecules. Because Raman signals from molecules are generally weak. Okay, so to make it much intense, you need to use something called a surface enhanced Raman substrates. There are some substrates which are based on nanoparticles of metals that will enhance the signal. So these also we look at here. We make these substrates Then studying with the model analytes and some real molecules to see the enhancement and whether we can use it in more applications. So these are the two main streams. Other than that, we do a lot of fundamental studies, spectroscopy techniques to understand the system much better. We use some advanced techniques like atomic force spectroscopy to look at these materials. And that's so important for basic understanding. So application when we apply these to some prototyping. So we also try to make a prototype of materials that show good accurate for application. So this is our major research. My PhD in, I did my MSc from applied chemistry. And then I had some exposure to research because they had a research facility. Also hands-on, and we have in the applied chemistry course, we have a project at the last semester. So I could go to National Chemical Laboratory and do some hands-on research where we were exposed to what it takes to do research or what involvement that we have to do. So it helps us to decide whether we should pursue this because it takes a lot of hard work and thoughts in the PhD time to come out. Sometimes what we predict may not work, so you get to feel a bit so sometimes it works. But when something goes in the something works and something when we are able to demonstrate the enthusiasm of it is very it energizes us to be further. Something which always makes us move.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very capable students. I may not be expert in all the fields, okay? Because I would have come from chemistry background. I have some expertise I gained from my research, synthesis, nanomaterials, looking into characterization, and some electrochemistry. But when it comes to it takes towards we have to see indeed the time, right? Like we need to address the present challenges in the which the world is facing. So we also have to. So my students, they are often they gain their expertise. Sometimes they, by themselves they gain their expertise in more advanced things, and they are actually engaged. My own research, I have to say that completely. What after I joined here is through my students. Completely responsible for the research success. That I really love to see that that is the main motivation when we do material science. One is basic understanding. Without basic understanding, you can't push it. Another thing is application, yes. Because material science means they always look towards application, and if we can fight in the electrochemical water, we can show a catalyst that is as efficient as platinum and much more cheaper than platinum. That's a game changer.
You were listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz, a podcast on STEM popularization, catalyzed and supported by National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. Tune in for more such episodes to Vigyan Ki Awaaz on this platform and also through Spotify, YouTube and Apple Music platforms. आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ।